Hello to our 6th week of the course on designing resilient housing, and to this video in which I would like to tell you more about the resilient structures and the building techniques that you could be using in your projects. We would like to achieve at the end of the course projects that are buildable and projects that are feasible. So as part of the course, what we want to do is to give you some guidance in how you can design with specific structures that are resilient to the type of natural hazard. For example, earthquakes, for example, typhoons, or strong winds, or floods. These structures are close related to the materials and the choice of materials that you have according to what is available on your site. So for example, in areas like Nepal, building up in the mountains, it's probably very hard to find local materials as steel. So you probably want to work with bricks or with stones or even better with wood. When we are talking about earthquake resilient buildings, we want to have buildings that are not made with heavy and rigid materials, and instead we would like to have buildings that are made out of flexible materials, as for example is wood, or for example is steel, if you're able to have steel up there. We are rebuilding after the earthquake, so there aren't that many local materials that are available. So you have to see how your projects could be adapted to what is available already on the site. You have to see and research and talk to some people from the area and see what is available there right now. We are currently in conversations with some NGOs and also some local groups regarding collaboration to rebuild the homes of those who have been affected. Almost 500,000 houses have been destroyed during the last earthquakes, and more than 8,000 people were unfortunately killed by the earthquake. So it's a very tragic situation, and the means are very scarce. So you want to go and understand deeper what the reality is and understand what you can be building with. If you're building in different contexts, like for example the Philippines, where you have typhoons, you have humidity, you have strong rains and winds, you have to think about, on the opposite side, more about how can you build with something that's sturdy enough that could not be taken away by the wind. The last typhoon, Haiyan, had winds that were stronger at 300 kilometers per hour. So imagine that's like an airplane that's taking off, in the moment when it's kind of taking off from the airport. So really strong wind, and what is better for those winds than a structure that's made out of bricks or stones or steel or concrete. However, you have to understand what is available on site. Many of those places, they don't have steel because they're in rural areas. They have an abundance of wood because wood has been, a lot of forests have been destroyed by the typhoon. So a lot of the trees are now lying on the ground, and they could be reused in the rebuilding. So again, go further and look further into the reality of the place where you're building, and then choose what material and what building techniques are available for you to work with. We would like to see in these next remaining weeks of the course something more about the construction details that you plan to work with. So in this coming week, the 6 weeks, first of all, our goal is to understand how you can improve the design with the feedback that you received during our last virtual meetings, our midterm review. But also we would like to see a step further in your project and understand what materials you're going to be using and how you're going to be connecting the different elements of the structure, for example, columns with the beams, the membrane with the structure, what the windows are made out of, where they're positioned, and also what is the roof made of. Remember, roof is essential, especially in the areas affected by typhoons. So again, this week, your goal is to improve the design and to further develop construction details and structure for your project.